Hey Team Shuckle, what is up? Welcome back to another Wi-Fi battle. This one is for the Lithio Battle Association. For those of you who do not know what it is a draft-based singles battle league 6v6. And for those of you who don't know what draft is, it's basically we just go around picking various Pokemon, and once that Pokemon is picked, it can't be picked again. So I got a pretty good team going. Yeah, so my opponent is Greel, aka Nuclear Android. His team was really threatening, and looking at his team, I brought, the team that I thought was the best. I tend to play more defensively, not stall, but more like tankish, if that makes sense. So a lot of the things that I drafted were very defensive, but can also do some output with offensive. So I was looking at his team, and I was trying to think of the best lead for him. I know he has a few things that have Stealth Rocks, a few things with Defog, no Rapid Spin, but, I wasn't really too concerned about getting the Rocks up because, he does have the Charizard, but that's really about it that I would really want to hit it with, so it wasn't too bad. So I ended up starting off with Gyarados because I figured Gyarados was probably my best bet against this team. It hit everything, not everything, but most things pretty hard. So that's what I went for, and it's more of like a tanky Gyarados. It's support, it has Taunt, it has Thunder Wave. So he starts off with Greninja, and I'm not, phone call. I'm not too worried about it, but I'm not sure if it's carrying HP Electric or not, so I don't want to take the risk just yet. I bring up my Clefable, who I think was my best option on my team to kind of come in on Greninja. Turns out he goes for Dark Pulse, which means he was the best switch in. And I have Flame Orb just because I don't want to get put to sleep, I don't want to get other things, and this way I have like a really solid status switch in, it kind of makes sense. So he goes for Surf here. I was predicting either a water type move or something else. I don't really know. I just figured Gyarados was the best bet, and he didn't go for HP Electric, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't have it now. Now I know Ice Beam is neutral on me, and Gyarados doesn't have the greatest special defense, but I figured I'm bulky enough to take an Ice Beam, so I'm going to stay in and go for Thunder Wave. And I don't take the Ice Beam as well as I had hoped, but I don't get frozen, it doesn't take me out, so I'm happy with the damage output there. So I do get I get him paralyzed there. A slow Greninja is not a good Greninja in my opinion. It's so great to have that thing not paralyzed. But I decided to switch out again, this time going in for Clefable. He does predict a switch out, or I guess he just wanted to switch out himself. And he goes for U-turn. I don't know if he expected to get KO'd. I'm not really sure why he went for U-turn, but probably predicted me to switch out. So he does, and in comes the Metagross. Now I'm thinking I'm max HP, max defense, bold. I can take a Meteor Mash, right? Now I didn't calc this out, so unfortunately I didn't take it. So once I saw that I didn't take it, I was like, oh, he's got to be banded. There's no way he's not banded. So I do bring in my Skarmory here because I know he's going to switch out. It'll get me, it'll let me get a safe Stealth Rocks up. He does bring in the Charizard here, which is rather unfortunate. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to go about taking this thing out. But I actually decide to stay in. I wanted to take a bit of a risk. I thought he would go for Dragon Dance, predicting the switch out. I thought maybe he'd go for Dragon Claw, predicting me to switch into Gyarados. So I just stayed in. I was just super worried because, Flare Blitz was pretty obvious against Skarmory. I clearly have a Heatran in the back. So I stayed in. I went for Brave Bird just to get some chip damage off because I know, he's a Flare Blitzer. I don't want to risk taking a Flare Blitz, but, with the recoil, it's just going to be good. So I bring in Heatran here to hopefully take a Flare Blitz, but unfortunately he does go for Dragon Claw, and I was like, damn, okay. But it doesn't do a lot of damage, and here I'm expecting him to go for Earthquake. I could have brought in Skarmory here, but because he is a physical fire type, and I'm pretty sure its Flare Blitz will either 2-hit KO or even 1-hit KO me, I decided Gyarados was my best bet. I could easily come in, get that Intimidate off, which is really cool. He's going to go for Flare Blitz. I don't know if he was predicting a switch out or what, but I'm going to eat that up pretty easily considering what this Pokemon is. And I go for Thunder Wave. Now, I probably could have killed it with Waterfall, but just to be on the safe side, I went for Thunder Wave. This way, you know, I get an extra turn of recovery, I get to go for another Waterfall. It's just a little bit nicer. So I do go for that Waterfall, and it does in fact take it out. So I really totally could have gone for Waterfall before, but it didn't lose me any HP. It only wasted 1 PP of Thunder Wave, so it really wasn't the end of the world. So in comes Alakazam, and I'm thinking, I don't really have much for this Alakazam now that my Clefable's gone. So predicting a Psychic move, I go into Skarmory hoping for the best, but it does a lot, and I'm not really sure if I can survive another one, but I don't really have a switch in, so I stayed in and I went for Brave Bird, I believe. No, I went for Roost. I went for Roost, actually. I went for Roost in the small hopes that he'd either A, stay in and the Psychic wouldn't KO me, or B, switch out. And fortunately for me, he did switch out and I got that. So in comes the Gliscor, and I'm like, oh god, a Gliscor, what am I going to do? So I bring in Gengar. He goes for a Rock Tomb, and I was a little weary because I'm pretty sure I'm still faster than this, but I am Choice Specs, so I figured that I'm still going to be faster. Shadow Ball should either 2-hit KO or 1-hit KO. So I go for it, and it looks like it's going to be a 2-hit KO, regardless of that special defense drop. He goes for Rock Tomb again, so him going for Rock Tomb again means that he doesn't have knockoff. So I'm in a good position to stay in and go for another Shadow Ball. Fortunately, he protects, which really, in the grand scheme of things, won't do anything except waste a PP of my Shadow Ball. Not the end of the world. So, you know, he's going to get some HP back, but with the special defense drop and how much it already does, really doesn't matter. So he actually switches out here into the Greninja, and I'm thinking, okay, that's a pretty good switch in, you know, it resists it, but I am Choice Spec, so I'm pretty sure it's going to take it out, and it does. It crits, though, but you have to also realize that unless he's carrying Shadow Sneak, he would have gone down again anyway, you know? So in comes Thundurus, and I note that if this thing is timid, it's actually going to be faster than me, so not wanting to stay in against that, I bring in Heatran to hopefully take, like, you know, a Thunderbolt or I don't know, something else. I'm just predicting something, you know. So he does go for Thunderbolt. It does a lot more damage than I was really happy with. I really didn't like that damage. But, you know, I wasn't too concerned. I didn't know that this thing got Focus Blast. If I did, I probably would have switched into Gengar there. Or into Victory Bell, who I actually brought specifically for this. But, you know, I wanted, you know, on one side I lost my Heatran, on the other side I did get a free switch into my Victory Bell. Now my Victory Bell is Scarfed, and I was really hoping that he wouldn't paralyze me, and I forgot that this thing got Prankster, but he does unfortunately paralyze me. Now Sludge Bomb can KO from this range, so I'm just going to go for it again. I was heavily predicting him to switch into the Metagross. I actually thought he was going to, but I didn't want to risk it, you know, because Thunderbolt will kill my Skarmory, so it was a really bad choice, but oh well, you know, nothing lost. So he actually ends up switching out the Metagross here, and of course, you know, knowing that it's Metagross, I am going to bring in my Skarmory here. But, you know, he's going to go for Thunder Wave, and I'm thinking, oh, you know, that's not too bad. You know, Brave Bird should do good damage to this thing, as long as I don't get paralyzed. And I'm not too worried with my HP range against his own Psychic, because, you know, as we saw before, it won't KO me from that range. Now, he doesn't die, but I did break his Sash. If he had one, I kind of assumed he had one. But I go for Brave Bird yet again, because I'm figuring, hey, you know, he's probably going to stay in, go for Psychic. It's not going to take me out, and, you know, I'd rather get rid of this Alakazam than dance around it, you know? So I'm at 38 HP, and he brings out Metagross, and I'm thinking, what? This thing's banded, you know, so it's probably going to do damage, but I'm max HP, max defense. I don't think it's going to take me out. Now, he goes for Zen Headbutt, which I resist. And I actually survive. I had chose Roost for this turn. But I flinch. Like, I flinched. I went for Roost, so I would have gotten all that HP plus more back. And I was just so upset. So I bring in Gyarados, you know, for the Intimidate, forgetting that it was Clear Body. And unfortunately, that Zen Headbutt will take me out. So I'm thinking, okay. He's locked into Zen Headbutt. He's weak to Ghost. But then he goes for Bullet Punch. And I'm like, but you took out my Clefable. I don't understand. And I actually calced it out after this battle. During this time, when the Metagross KO'd my Clefable, I forgot that I had already previously taken damage. So Metagross Choice Banded actually only 2-hit KOs my Clefable with Meteor Mash, but I was just outside the range for the 2-hit KO, so I ended up going down to that, and because I forgot about, you know, the previous damage, I had unfortunately assumed that Metagross was banded, and because of that, I pretty much lost my entire team. But on the other side of things, the flinch on my Skarmory was very, very crucial. I did go for Roost that turn, 100%, so I would have been able to stall out that Metagross. I have Rocky Helmet, so it wouldn't have done too much damage to me. The only thing to really consider is that he did have the Thundurus in the back, and I believe the Gliscor. The Gliscor, 100% handled by that Gengar, so no worries about the Gliscor. But the real worry was that Thundurus. If it had HP Ice, I would have won, but he says he has Psychic, so I'm not really too sure how that would have played out. There's so many different ways it could have played out. I think he would have won, to be quite honest, but it would have been a lower score. Probably would have been like 1-0 or 2-0 instead of 3-0. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys at the next episode. Peace.